Breaking news tonight. Contact has been lost with an underwater vessel operating in the North Atlantic. No distress signal, no debris, just silence.
No mayday, no wreckage, no explanation, just gone. Beneath the surface of the Atlantic Ocean lies a region feared by sailors, pilots, and naval commanders alike. A place where ships vanish, planes fall silent, and even the most advanced underwater craft seem to disappear without a trace. This is the Bermuda Triangle. Not just a place on a map, but a nexus of mystery and fear. And while most stories focus on ships and aircraft, the darkest secrets may lie far below the waves. Tonight, we ask the question few dare to confront. Is the Bermuda Triangle driven by forces beyond human comprehension? Or is the truth something far more chilling? Something human? The Bermuda Triangle is said to stretch between Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico, an invisible boundary blamed for more than a century of disappearances. Officially, it doesn't exist. There are no warning signs, no restricted zones, no acknowledgement on most nautical charts. And yet, the stories persist. Compasses malfunction, navigation systems fail, crews report strange lights, sudden fog, and the terrifying feeling of being watched. But nowhere is the danger more absolute than underwater. Because once a submarine goes silent, there is no rescue, only questions. Among the most haunting cases is the disappearance of the USS Scorpion. In 1968, the nuclear-powered submarine was returning to Norfolk after a deployment in the Atlantic. Then, without warning, contact was lost. No distress call, no emergency signal, no explanation. Months later, the wreck was found more than 10,000 feet below the surface. But what caused its destruction remains fiercely debated. The U.S. Navy cited mechanical failure. Others pointed to a torpedo malfunction. Some believed it was sunk during a covert Cold War confrontation. But here's the problem. The damage patterns didn't fully match any single explanation. And the deeper investigators looked, the less sense it made. Other submersibles, commercial and military alike, have also vanished in or near the triangle. Complete loss of communication. No debris field, no trace. For vessels designed to survive crushing depths, they vanished as if erased. When logic fails, the human mind searches elsewhere. Some believe the Bermuda Triangle is a gateway, a place where time itself fractures. Others speak of energy vortexes, capable of disabling electronics in an instant. Then there are the more unsettling theories. Alien abductions, advanced technology harvesting vessels, or remnants of an ancient civilization, far older than humanity, still active beneath the sea. Stories from sailors and pilots tell of glowing lights under the water, of instruments spinning wildly, of moments where reality itself seemed to bend. Are these accounts proof? No, but they reveal something deeper. When faced with sudden, total loss, we cling to the inexplicable. Because sometimes, the unknown feels easier than accepting how fragile we truly are. Yet the ocean doesn't need myths to be deadly. The Bermuda Triangle sits atop one of the most complex and dangerous marine environments on Earth. Powerful currents like the Gulf Stream can drag wreckage hundreds of miles away, leaving no trace behind. Rogue waves, towering walls of water, can overwhelm even massive vessels in seconds. Then there's the seafloor itself, steep drop-offs, underwater mountains, and methane hydrate deposits capable of erupting violently, reducing water density and causing ships or submersibles to sink instantly. Add human error, faulty equipment, outdated navigation systems. When investigators revisit historical accident reports, patterns emerge, missed warnings, ignored anomalies, small failures cascading into catastrophe. No supernatural force required, just a sea that does not forgive mistakes. So, what truly lies behind the Bermuda Triangle's dark secrets? Is it aliens, time warps, hidden forces beyond science? Or is it a perfect storm of human ambition, technological limits, and one of the most hostile environments on the planet? The evidence leans toward natural explanations, but not certainty, And maybe that's the real reason the mystery endures. Because deep down, we want answers. We want closure. But the ocean doesn't offer either. It keeps its secrets far below the waves. What do you think happened? Was the truth buried by governments, by science, or by the sea itself? Share your theories in the comments below. Subscribe for more investigations into history's darkest mysteries. In Part 1, we explored how vessels vanish. No distress calls, no debris, no survivors. But disappearance is only the beginning. Because in rare cases, something was found, and what investigators brought up from the deep raised questions darker than the vanishings themselves. Wreckage that should not exist. Evidence that refuses to fit the storm. If a modern aircraft vanishes, shouldn't something be found? Chapter 1. The wrecks that should not exist. When wrecks appear here, they defy expectation. Ships found miles from their last reported position. Against current, against logic. Aircraft lying intact on the seafloor, yet no record of a crash. How do you explain this? Navigation error, or something unnatural? Submarines show damage no storm can account for. Pressure applied unevenly, crushed from within shadows. No ballast release, no ascent attempt, no final maneuver. Just sudden silence. Intact frames, catastrophic outcomes. The math does not balance. In the triangle, what's missing is only half the story. What remains should not. And in multiple cases, investigators quietly admitted that they could not recreate the conditions that caused the damage. Modern vessels leave trails of data, sonar logs, navigation records, telemetry. Yet in several Bermuda Triangle incidents, that data simply stops. Not corrupted, not damaged, gone. Cold War-era naval records reference unexplained losses, but omit critical pages. Coordinates redacted. Sonar logs are missing. Entire investigation files sealed or destroyed. Why erase data? Unless it recorded something never meant to be seen. Former analysts have hinted, never on record, that some sensor readings showed anomalies far outside known parameters. Readings that didn't make sense. Readings that frightened people trained not to be afraid. With satellites, GPS, AI navigation, and autonomous underwater drones, you'd expect the Bermuda Triangle mystery to fade. It hasn't. Modern vessels still report sudden navigation failure. Autonomous drones lose signal without warning. Tracking data ends mid-transmission. No gradual degradation, mechanical alerts. One moment, everything normal. The next, nothing. Technology has evolved. The disappearances have not. Stay with me.
The Bermuda Triangle is not empty water. It is a convergence zone. Powerful currents, extreme weather systems, complex seafloor geology, methane hydrate fields lie beneath the seabed, capable of erupting violently and without warning, destabilizing water density in seconds. A vessel caught above such an eruption would lose buoyancy instantly. No time to react. No distress call. Add rogue waves, some exceeding 100 feet, and magnetic anomalies that interfere with navigation instruments. Individually, these forces are survivable. Together, they create an environment where a single mistake or a single unknown variable means total loss. What if the Bermuda Triangle is not one mystery, but many? Not aliens, not myths, but a place where extreme natural forces intersect with human ambition and secrecy, where military testing, classified operations, and unforgiving geography collide, where accidents happen, and some truths are buried because revealing them would expose vulnerabilities we're not ready to face. So, what truly lies beneath the Bermuda Triangle? The evidence points to natural forces, but forces still not fully understood. And perhaps that's the most unsettling truth of all. That even now, with all our science, with all our technology, the ocean remains beyond us. It does not explain itself. It does not offer closure. It only keeps its secrets, far below the waves.
Do you believe everything has been explained? Or do you think some truths were deliberately left behind? Share your theory in the comments. Subscribe to receive notification for Part 3, where we investigate survivor accounts and modern encounters that challenge everything we think we know. Triangle end in silence, but a few don't. A small number of pilots, sailors, and crews claim they returned. No wreckage, no rescue, just memories that don't quite fit reality. And what they describe is often more disturbing than the disappearance itself. Bermuda, Miami, San Juan, a triangle drawn in folklore and flight plans. In this chapter, we sit with the ones who came back. We listen, we measure, we try not to look away. Because if vanishing is the fear, returning changed is the nightmare. Stay with me. Listen for what the ocean gives back. Survivors from the Bermuda Triangle rarely agree on details, but their accounts share chilling similarities. Sudden fog appears from clear skies. Instruments are failing simultaneously. A strange stillness, as if the world had paused. Several pilots reported flying through what they described as a cloud tunnel. Inside it, compasses spun wildly. Radios fell silent. Engines continued running, but control felt distant. Then, without warning, they emerged. The ocean below looked unchanged, but something was wrong. Distance didn't match fuel. Checkpoints came too soon, or too late. The air felt heavier, the light a shade off. Crew spoke in whispers, unsure why, and behind their voices, a hush, like a room holding its breath. They filed reports. Investigators listened. The ocean said nothing, but the pattern remained. Clear sky, sudden veil, instruments adrift, a tunnel, and a return that didn't add up. What was wrong would take time to name, and time would not behave. When these crews landed, investigators noticed something unsettling. Their fuel consumption didn't match the flight time. Their clocks disagreed with radar logs. In some cases, hours were unaccounted for. This phenomenon became known as time loss, not blackouts, not unconsciousness. But experienced pilots are fully aware, yet unable to explain where the missing time went. A ledger with empty lines that should be filled by minutes, miles, moments. They were there, and then they were later. Was it a navigation error? Faulty instruments? Or something that interfered not just with machines, but perception itself? If time can be kept, can it slip? If a clock can be trusted, can a moment? These are not claims made lightly. They carry careers, families, consequences. And yet the records, the math, whisper the same riddle. Where did the minutes go and what brought them back? Fuel tells stories. It predicts range like a ruler measures distance. But here, the ruler bent. Arrivals with more fuel than the time aloft should allow. Or logs that say longer, when tanks say shorter. Tower recordings capture the ordinary. Then, a quiet seam in the fabric. The radar never stopped. The track did. Minutes missing. Not erased, but absent. Ask a pilot to lie, and you risk their license. Ask them to guess, and you risk lives. Yet the drawings echo each other. Different hands, same words. Time, it seems, is the first instrument to fail and the last to admit it. And in that denial, mystery multiplies. We are left with a ledger we cannot balance, and a page we hesitate to fill, because ink makes it real. And once real, we must choose what to believe, or what to fear. If machines fail, we replace them. If perception slips, what do we reach for? Training says, trust the gauges. But what if the gauges trust a different minute than you do? Stress, hypoxia, magnetic interference, each has an alibi and a motive. Yet tests return nominal. The body insists it was there. The world insists it moved. Was it a navigation error, faulty instruments, or something that interfered not just with machines, but perception itself? A lens we cannot remove, shaken by something we cannot name. And when it passes, we have only the afterimage, a time that did not feel like time, a wake across a dark sea, and no shore to point at, only return, and the questions that followed them home. Many believe these stories belong to the past. They don't. Modern pilots have reported brief but total GPS failure over the same region. Commercial ships have logged sudden electronic blackouts, followed by normal function minutes later. Autonomous underwater drones have vanished mid-mission. No mechanical fault, no recovery signal, just a sudden end to transmission. Technology has improved. The encounters continue. Narrator ends. Skeptics argue these experiences are stress responses, extreme weather, spatial disorientation, human memory filling gaps after fear. And they may be right, sometimes. But psychologists studying these cases notice something unusual. Many survivors reported sensations before fear set in. Calm, detachment, a feeling of being guided or observed, not panic. And that distinction matters, because fear distorts memory. Calm does not. So, what are these encounters? Natural phenomena interacting with fragile human perception? Rare electromagnetic effects disrupting instruments and minds? Or something we don't yet have the language to describe? Science explains pieces of the puzzle, but not all of it. And for those who lived through it, explanation matters less than certainty. They know what they experienced, even if they can't prove it. The Bermuda Triangle doesn't just take ships. It takes time. It takes certainty. It takes the comfort of simple answers. Some vanish and are never seen again. Others return, changed, not with proof, but with questions that follow them for the rest of their lives. And perhaps that is the Triangle's final secret, not disappearance, but survival with doubt. Do you believe these survivors experienced something real, or did the ocean test the limits of the human mind? Share your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe for Part 4, where we introducing military secrecy, declassified files, and unanswered contradictions. Explanations follow. Weather, human error, mechanical failure, but when the military goes silent, the story changes. Because armed forces do not guess. They record. They document. And when necessary, they classify. For decades, governments have insisted the Bermuda Triangle poses no unique threat. Yet buried beneath layers of redacted files, restricted briefings, and carefully worded reports is a very different story. One where even the most advanced navies on Earth encountered something they could not fully explain. Tonight, we examine what happens when the hunters become the lost.
Out here, silence can feel like a story trying not to be told. And the closer you listen, the quieter it gets. Welcome back to our continuing investigation into the Bermuda Triangle. If you've traveled with us so far, you know the patterns: vanishing craft, contradictory records, and weather that refuses to behave. But tonight, the lens narrows into military encounters and files released, yet not completely revealed. We trace the edge of a map framed by Bermuda, Miami, and Puerto Rico. A stretch of ocean where technology meets uncertainty. Behind secured gates and long corridors, reports stack up. Some were never meant for public eyes. Entire paragraphs missing, coordinates removed. Voices summarized, not quoted. And one phrase returns again and again: cause undetermined, but not unobserved.
December 5, 1945. 5 U.S. Navy training aircraft, known collectively as Flight 19, departed from Fort Lauderdale on a routine navigation exercise. Experienced pilots, clear weather, short mission. They were never seen again. Radio transcripts captured growing confusion. Compasses spinning. Landmarks unrecognizable. Pilots convinced they were flying north, while drifting deeper into open ocean. Then the most chilling line of all. Everything looked strange, even the ocean. Minutes later, silence. A massive search operation followed. Hundreds of ships, dozens of aircraft. Nothing was found. Not wreckage, not bodies, not fuel slicks. Official conclusion, pilot error. But that explanation ignores one critical detail. A rescue aircraft sent to find Flight 19 also vanished. 2 losses, 1 mission, 0 answers. For decades, the files would insist there was nothing unusual, yet buried in terse memos and carefully phrased statements, contradictions remained. Flight 19 should have returned within hours. Instead, instruments became unreliable, and orientation dissolved. Everything looked strange, even the ocean. Officially, pilot error. Unofficially, questions that refused to close. And in those unanswered spaces, the Bermuda Triangle kept its secret. In 1968, the Cold War was at its peak. The U.S. Navy's nuclear-powered submarine USS Scorpion was returning home from deployment. Then, contact was lost. No distress signal, no emergency broadcast, no warning. 5 months later, the wreck was discovered. Over 10,000 feet below the Atlantic, near the edge of the Bermuda Triangle. The Navy cited mechanical failure, but internal documents revealed something unsettling. Multiple acoustic events, anomalous sounds, a sequence that did not fully align with an onboard explosion. Some analysts suspected a rogue torpedo. Others quietly questioned whether the Scorpion encountered something external, something powerful enough to disable a nuclear submarine. Instantly. The final report, partially classified. To this day, families of the crew still dispute the official explanation. Over the years, select military files related to the Bermuda Triangle have been released, but declassified does not mean complete. Entire paragraphs are blacked out, coordinates removed, witness statements summarized, not quoted. One recurring phrase appears again and again: cause undetermined, radar anomalies, sudden signal loss, instrument failure across multiple systems, incidents logged, then quietly archived. In some cases, exercises in the region were rerouted, training areas adjusted, flight paths altered, without public explanation. If there was no danger, why change course? Even in the age of satellites, drones, and real-time tracking, the anomalies continue. Modern pilots have reported radar returns with no visual contact, subsurface contacts that move faster than known underwater vehicles, objects that appear, then vanish, without a trace. Officially, these incidents are labeled sensor error, environmental interference, unidentified, but not hostile. Yet leaked briefings suggest concern, not fear, concern. Because the military does not fear myths. It fears unknown capabilities, and in a region already infamous for disappearance, unknowns are unacceptable. So why does the mystery persist? Not because answers don't exist, but because some answers raise questions governments would rather not confront. Questions like, what if certain areas of the ocean are inherently unstable? What if our technology is vulnerable in ways we don't yet understand? What if something operates there, indifferent to human presence? Or worse, what if the truth exposes limits we're not ready to admit? Because power relies on certainty, and uncertainty breeds fear. The military records everything, except what it can't explain. Flight logs end mid-sentence. Signals stop without warning. Missions conclude without closure, and beneath the waves, the ocean keeps its files sealed. No clearance, no access, no appeals, only silence. What do you think? Are these encounters evidence of suppressed truths, natural forces misunderstood, or something operating just beyond our awareness? Share your theory below, and please subscribe to receive notification for the latest video. Most stories of the Bermuda Triangle end in silence. But some silences are manufactured. For decades, we've blamed the ocean. Tonight, we look at the rooms where the truth is filed away under causes unknown.
Watch till the end to verify your answers. 1. Why did the U.S. Navy officially change the explanation for the disappearance of Flight 19 from causes unknown to pilot error? 2. Is the legendary mystery of the Bermuda Triangle actually a deliberate disinformation campaign used to mask advanced military weapons testing?
In 1945, 5 Navy bombers vanished. The original investigation cited causes unknown, but the public was told pilot error. Why change the narrative? What did the Navy see that they didn't want us to know? In the heart of the triangle sits Andros Island, home to AOTEC, the Atlantic Undersea Test and Evaluation Center. Officially, it's a sonar testing site. Unofficially, it's called the Underwater Area 51. Pilot Bruce Gernon claims he flew through an electronic fog near this base. He traveled 100 miles in 3 minutes, a physical impossibility. While science points to solar winds, whistleblowers suggest the military is testing more than just sonar in these waters. If you think the Bermuda Triangle is just old sailor tales, but you still get chills at new radar clips, then stick around. This one's for people who chase evidence, not myths. If you love mystery, fine. If you love answers, even better. Whistleblowers in recent hearings say there's unreleased data, not rumors. Actual flyer feeds of tic-tac-shaped objects cruising the skies. These aren't tabloid tipsters. They're people with top clearances risking careers. Why would they lie? Money? Fame? Or something far more alarming, a cover-up? Dig deeper and history stares back. Project Blue Book files, old newspapers repeated triangle sightings. Is the Bermuda Triangle a magnetic oddity, a testing ground for black budgets, a smokescreen for something we don't yet understand? We'll follow the whistleblowers and the footage. Truth is messy, but silence is louder. The U.S. Navy dismisses supernatural claims, pointing to human error and environmental factors. But for those who saw the whitewater or lost hours of time, the official explanation will never be enough. Pilots reported instruments spinning, compasses veering without warning. Survivors recall sudden fog banks swallowing horizons whole. Radios crackled, then silence. Minutes stretched into missing hours. Charts showed clear skies. Logbooks told different stories. Wreckage was scarce. Questions washed ashore instead. Families kept journals, stitching patterns officials ignored. The Bermuda Triangle doesn't just take ships, it takes the truth. Some secrets are better left at the bottom. Thank you for joining us on this descent.
The descent doesn't have to end here. If you want to go deeper into the files we couldn't show on YouTube, including extended whistleblower interviews and declassified maps, join our inner circle in the channel community. Your support keeps this investigation independent and ensures the truth stays afloat. Subscribe to lock in for our next investigation. The truth is out there.